Sadashivasamārambhāṃ Shankarācārya-madhyamāṃ Asmadācārya-paryantām Vande Guru-paramparaṃ Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsacānūravardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Sadashivasamārambhāṃ Shankarācārya-madhyamāṃ Asmadācārya-paryantām Vande Guru-paramparaṃ Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsacānūravardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We started with looking at Maya Shakti as Shakti being a way for us to see the presence of Brahman. Because where there is Shakti, there is being. Where there is Shakti, there is the being, Brahman. Then what is Maya Shakti comprising of? Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. How does Sattva, Rajas, Tamas manifest? What are its effects? And that's why we are looking at all these verses that have been extracted from the Bhagavad Gita. As we are going through the verses so far, we have looked at Prakriti being present in all names and forms. Rather, Prakriti is appearing as names and forms. And while Prakriti is made up of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, it can as though bind. So how the gunas as though seemingly bind us, we have seen. Then Shraddha according to the three gunas, the kind of food desired by Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika people, the type of yajna that is performed by these three kinds of people. Now the moment I say kind or type of person, it is very tempting to categorize other people like that. And so we want to, and you know, that might be a reflection of what? Sattva? No. So whatever it's a reflection of, so we align, come back to the center and look at ourselves, and so that we can align more and more with Sattva. Because like a clear mind can reflect the knowledge, can go along with the knowledge. But if the mind is muddy waters, then one can't see clearly. And if it is very rich with lot of sediment, then there is the struggle of just clearing the waters. Whole lifetimes can go in that. Maybe generator will come on. So after type of tapas, we have a little more to cover, Rajasika and Tamasika tapas. So we are on 7, did we do? We are on 17.18, okay. Page 13. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. So like we were seeing, the ones who have Sattvika tapas will perform karma because it is to be done. They are very clear that their goal is antakarna shuddhi, and so they look upon karma as a means to an end. The karma itself doesn't become the end. So when we meet people, what do you do? What do you do? Nice. It's a nice conversation starter. But am I only what I do? Because if I am only what I do, then karma is an end for me. But if that karma is helping me grow as a person, then karma is a means to an end. So the karma that is done by, it was really done, for mana, for the sake of respect, for honor, for dambha, and so on. So basically show off, which is done only when people are watching, that is rajasika tapaha. There is effort involved for sure, but like a lot of corporates do, they may give 25 lakhs as donation and spend 1 crore advertising the 25 lakhs that was given in donation. Right? So more spent on shosha, right? Shosha, than anything else. But still, all dhanam is welcome. I mean, all tapas is welcome. You know, they do that. Then tamasika tapaha, mudha grahenatmanaha yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyosadanartham va tattamasamudahritam. Certain tapas that is done which doesn't have a shastra backing, but done because one wants to afflict one's body and say that I am doing tapasya. Like I give you example. This, in Kumbh Mela, you will see lot of sadhus. I remember seeing one sadhu, and you know, a lot of them are often photographed, videographed, because of some unusual thing that they are doing. So one of them, he has his hand like this for many years. It's like kind of tied to a string or some such. So why? Because ये हाथ से मैं बहुत कुछ गलत कर सकता हूँ. So it's almost like punishing oneself, you know, so that I avoid it, so that I am always alert. My hand is suspended in air, and of course it's wasting away. Obviously the muscles are not used. Now, is such tapas mentioned in the Shastra? Not at all. Is there a lot of effort involved? Yes. Is there pain involved? Because just so that he can manage his tapasya, there are people who have to do things for him, or he has to manage with one hand. So there is no Shastra pramana for it, but there is some expending of effort, or like Ravana's tapaha, lot of asuras who have done lot of japa, it is to destroy another. Because like I said, you know, it is so easy and inexpensive to be delightful in the delight of others. But we have not grown that much. So if people are happy, I am not happy. And therefore I will destroy them. Or I will ensure that they do not progress in whatever are their pursuits. So we know of such people who take to vyabhichara. So this is tamasika tapaha. Then different kinds of dhanam. Datavyamiti yad dhanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad dhanam sattvikam smritam. A lot of people have romantic ideas about sannyasa, giving up. Giving is a prerequisite to giving up. That dhanam which is given, datavyam, it is to be done. But don't impose that on others, okay? You start yourself first. So to whom it is to be given? Anupakarine, the one who does not, you don't expect any even acknowledgement, let alone gratitude from that person. So now we will extrapolate this to family. Then we will say, yes, that's exactly the point. I have been giving and giving. They are so ungrateful wretches. So they treat the house as a hotel and etc. etc. That is, you're doing your dharma and you figure out your kaushalam in terms of your equation. Here dhanam is outside the family. Don't apply all this only for 4 people in this whole wide world. Okay? So, keeping in mind the right time and the right place, and to someone who has the patrata, who needs help. If we have too many ifs and buts, does the person really need help? The person, suppose a person is met with an accident. Does the person really need help? No, maybe I think I should bring this to the world. Nowadays we hear of so many disasters where people are busy video shooting and nobody is actually stepping in to help. Because you want to get the best footage of this disaster that even before the news channels have got to the place, you have exclusive footage. This is all Kali Yuga Prabhava. So, when was the last time that I gave because it is to be given? Pujya Swamiji. In the many courses that he has done, especially, our course and the one little bit after that, he went through excruciating pain. He was on dialysis and he would really conserve his energy to come to the class, to give the class. He need not have done it. And then he has every right to ask what we as Shishyas should do for him. Because he can truly say, no, I gave my life for you all. And then when I had my meeting with him, just the last 1 or 2 months before the course was getting over, so he would meet with everyone, asking them what their future plans were, if they needed help, guidance, etc. So he heard whatever I had to say. And then I said, whatever Swamiji wants me to do, I will do. And he said, Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Whatever you want to do, you do. And it is the teaching, the last bit of the teaching of the Gita. So, he taught because it is to be done. And he really treated everyone like his own children. Vidya Danam, the highest dana. And then in the same course, one of my batchmates, he says, you know what, the ashram can be run in a better way. Why don't they employ more staff? You know, after all, we are giving, I mean, there was no money asked, of course, but for those who could afford, people were encouraged to pay some 5,000 rupees per month, which is nothing. So he argued. He said, oh, but you know, we are paying this. So I said, you're not a consumer, that you are demanding, you are entitled to some rights here. We are expected to run the place, we are expected to do seva, so that the Guru can only focus on the teaching. Where is your care? Where is your thoughtfulness? No, you know, things should be more efficient. I said, you contribute to the efficiency then. How dare you talk like this? You would pay your maid a little more than you would think about paying the Guru, like contributing to a Guru. How dare you talk like this? Of course, we had an argument and I was happy for it. But this thinking, you know, beggarly thinking. And it's not just about money, about giving one's time, one's effort, one's resources because you value the knowledge. Because this knowledge is priceless. That is Sattvika Dhanam. Or another instance. So this woman in, was traveling in Kashmir. And she was somewhere near Pulwama, and a soldier stopped her and he said, ma'am, please don't go ahead. We have just got news that there might be an encounter underway. So please return. So she was reminded of her son, because he's a young strapping man. So he said, oh, you remind me of my son. What will you do? He said, no, I'm on duty here, I'll be here. Oh, but maybe you might get killed. If the terrorists come, like, as if bachcho ka khel hai. If the terrorists come, you might get killed. So the soldier just kind of nodded. But why would you do this for me? You don't know me. And the soldier said, ma'am, I don't need to know you. I'm here to serve the citizens of the country. I'm doing my job. So one can say, oh, they're getting paid, their families are being looked after, they live a good life. He is giving, not that they're waiting to die. Of course, nobody wants to die like that. But I'm talking about the spirit of regular people. That they give because they feel rich. They're focused on what they have. Not always, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't know, constant, thinking like a beggar, although one might be living in a very palatial setup. So as opposed to Sattvika Dhanam, Yattu pratyupakarartham phalam uddishya va punaha diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asat kritama vajñātam tattamasamudahritam. So one can get an idea of what might be Rajasika or Tamasika Dhanam, where you give as an investment, that something's going to come back, or you recycle the gifts you receive. It's a practical thing we have to look into, right? So many crockery or whatever, especially for marriage, and then there will always be a story of one having got back the gift you had circulated maybe 3 years ago. So even packed in the same wrapping paper, okay. So, because you have to keep up a certain reputation, social status, whatever it is. So we have to, I think the gift they gave might have cost about 2,000 rupees. I think we have to give something more or less equivalent. So it's one of those things that we do so that we are not seen as stingy, so that we are seen as giving generous gifts. So whatever is given, whatever is done, the purpose is religious materialism, in the sense that I'll get some punya out of it. I'll go to the kshetra, I will do dhanam, or I will give to a temple. Oh, tremendous punya. How about giving to a temple of learning? Does it look like a temple? No. What about giving to the highest form of knowledge? The Veda, Apaurushaya, revealed by Bhagavan. What's the impact? What's the ROI? What's the return on investment? So I don't know what punya I will get also for something like that. So all that kind of dhanam, where it's quid pro quo, that is considered Rajasika Dhanam. And then that which is given without respect. So that scene of Amitabh Bachchan comes to mind, where, what is that, polishing shoes, right? Thank you. Bharti is so good with this. So somebody throws coins at him, and then he says something to the effect of, "मैं अभी भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं लेता." Right? So any dhanam that is given and the other person is made to feel super obligated, like you want the person to grovel in front of you because you have given something. Better not give, don't give, please don't give, don't, because you feel so poor, then why would you want to give? Don't even make the pretense. So things or resources that are given without respect, with contempt, or to people who are not worthy in the sense, somebody who's gambling or who's into drugs, or it's like, if there's an alcoholic in the family, then, oh, no, just quieten down, because the person is creating a big racket. And of course the person needs to be convinced, or, you better get an ambulance and get the person to a rehab. There's no other way. No alcoholic, no drug addict will admit that I am in such bad shape, I need help. Of course, few people are able to do that, but there is a tendency to be manipulative. There is a tendency to say, no, I can give up anytime. I'm a social drinker. No problem. Then that, and that person knows that obviously for all of us, little reputation is important. So the person will create big hangama in the house, and then you say, no, keep quiet, keep quiet. Okay, you want money? Okay, take it, go. This doesn't happen once, twice, it just keeps happening again and again, and that whole addiction just snowballs. So, on the face of it, we have given. But the purpose of giving was not to elevate the other person, but just for some calm and so-called peace in the house. So we know what we want to align with, okay? The whole purpose is not to say, I must do Sattvika Danam. No. If I am able to see the value in Sattvika Danam, maybe I see value in Tamasika Danam, maybe I might do more of that. That's all, okay? Then, type of jnanam. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tadjnanam vidhi sattvikam. One of my batchmates was watching a National Geographic documentary. And like for her epiphany happened that time. She was watching these lions taking care of their cubs. So they are shot so beautifully, you know, these documentaries. And then it hit her. She said, you know, what these lions have done, my whole life I have done this. Taken care of the family. But is that all? Like, am I just like an animal? So in the name of duty, responsibility, I did okay. My children are good. You know, I'm going to be grandmother soon. I've been wanting to do a Vedanta course, but I've kept it off because responsibility, duty, karma yoga. So therefore, but I think enough is enough. So our course got announced, and then she joined. So the different kinds of jnanam that we pursue through life, and it's important because learning doesn't stop in school or college. Now, of course, with rapid changes in the job environment, one is forced to learn, you know. So just to keep up. And if one doesn't have a learning mindset, then one will really struggle with life. Because you figured some 5 patterns, and those 5 patterns you will apply to the rest of your life. And of course, certain situations won't work out well. And then you will blame people and the situation and the world and even your planets. But perhaps it requires me to look at things differently. Perhaps it requires me to learn new skills. And learning is uncomfortable. It sounds nice. But learning is uncomfortable. Why? Because I might have to admit that I was wrong. I might have to admit that my perspective can expand a little more. So the ahankara sometimes gets challenged. And that's not easy for us. I know. I did. I have a PhD. So while we are going through different kinds of learning which may help us with our dharma, artha, kama pursuits, what is that jnanam that can truly set us free? So referring to Brahma Vidya, knowing that knowledge Vidhi, may you know. Tad jnanam, that is Sattvikam. And what would you know about? What is to be known? Ekam avyayam. The one changeless bhavaha, which is you, Brahman, that pervades all things, all beings, sarva bhuteshu. So this doesn't mean that other domains of knowledge are not important. Please learn whatever you need to learn for your profession and so on. But understand that Sattvika Jnanam is only that which does not create a divide between you, the knower, and that which has to be known, and there is no end to the learning process. You ask 10 questions more and then you will say, oh, I don't know, this requires more research. This is outside the scope of research in my thesis. All PhD people are encouraged to write this. What are the limitations of the research and what more can be researched? But here the vision is that you are Purna. There is no lack and there is no Triputi. Jnata, the knower, Jneyam, what is to be known, and Jnanam, you are it all. You are the basis of everything. So Sattvika Jnanam is this. Then Prithatvena tu yat jnanam nana bhavan prithak vidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu Tadjnanam vidhi rajasam. In recent times, especially in humanities, there is a new emerging theory called critical race theory. And the lens is, the whole world is divided into, I'm simplifying it, into two groups. One that oppresses and the other that is oppressed. So now, when you look around the world with this lens, all you will see is injustice. The men are oppressing the women are oppressing the men, the older are oppressing the young, the urban are oppressing the poor, the Brahmins are oppressing the Dalits, and so on. Is there some value in seeing injustice and then doing something about it? Most definitely. But can you use this lens to see everything? It's ridiculous. But people fall for it. And not only do they live angry lives, they fight with everyone, including the trees also, and just build up a lot of bitterness and disillusionment. So any form of knowledge that differentiates, keeps looking at differences, would be Rajasika Jnanam. Of course, the different orders, I've given an extreme example, but other forms of knowledge by which we are able to function better in society. So laws of physics, laws of chemistry, biology, the mysterious laws of the stock market. Okay, they're not so mysterious if you are well educated, but always ready with the element of risk. So all these forms of knowledge, as important they are, and all knowledge is Sattvika anyway, but compared to Brahma Vidya, that is Sattvika Jnanam, this will be considered Rajasika Jnanam. And yes, one pursues it, and it's not opposed to Sattvika Jnanam, but in time, one will see the value for Brahma Vidya and accordingly pursue and do all that is required to assimilate it. Yattu kritsnavade kasmin karye saktamahaitukam atatvartha tadalpancha tattamasamudahritam. What is the font that we need to have for the brand? Can be a topic of discussion for days. I enjoy the world of advertising, because in a matter of 20 seconds you are telling a story which is so powerful, so much creativity, it is all Ishvara Vibhuti. Whatever be our topics, that keeps us preoccupied, if one is committed only to that, does the font reflect the values of our company? Does it reflect our brand? Good question, good discussion. But whole mental space is devoted only to that. So, or you are committed to one thing or one object. What shall I do to convince my daughter to marry? It's a valid concern, but whole life revolving around that. So, lot of books are read, videos, and then since I have not been able to convince, the guru also gets roped into the pursuit. If you say, maybe person will listen to you. And let me just explain the context to you, okay? So what she needs to hear or what he needs to hear is A, B, C, D. So now I have been roped into the plan that my whole life pursuit is to convince my daughter to marry. Obsession. Okay, that's what is pointing to Tamasika Jnanam. That on the face of it, I am learning, reading, or even one's health can become an obsession. Right? See, everybody, the way we live our life and lifestyles, so much use and abuse. No, invariably, there will be some health condition. Then for that health condition, one is reading, watching, consulting, okay. As a part of overall responsibilities of life, fair enough. That's, obviously one body, you better take care of it. But such an obsession that as though it is everything. Kritsnavat, totally, my whole life revolves around that. And it is a tattvartha. So, okay, fine. Let's just say, when I was just joking with my mother in the hospital bed. So, the doctors say, I don't have much time. I said, okay, even if you have more time, what will you do? It sounds harsh. I was just joking. What else will you do? Oh, you want me to die? No, I'm not saying that. Now don't go into this emotional spiral. But whatever you want to do, you do that. So it's like that. I did a podcast on this. If death had a voice. We all want to live a little longer. But if what you really wanted to do in 70 years you have not done, by getting 2 more days, what are you going to do? I mean, logical, So in 70, 80 years, whatever jnanam I pursued, which was limited, which didn't quite set me free but made me feel bound, then I face the consequences, right? So, to align oneself again and again to what you value is sadhana. And for this jnanam, of course, in 13th chapter Gita, 20 values are mentioned. So we pay attention to that. One can become fanatical about whatever is one's subject matter, and we have to see it as a means to an end. Then we go to type of karma. You know what I want to do, and maybe after some time we'll do that. So I would like to divide y'all into groups of 2 or 3, and y'all can go back to whatever we have done. And let's say, I'll just give an example. I'm sowing the seed now, okay? We'll come to it later. So if it is Sattvika Dhanam or Sattvika Tapas, when was the last time that you did that, or you are already doing it? So if you could just share it with someone you identify, okay? Like, I will tell more. So just to share how you are aligning more and more with Sattva. We will have little small group discussion on that. Now people's minds have started ticking. Huh? Aisa hi kya? I was not prepared for this, you know. Exactly the point. That's why I said now only. So type of karma. Niyatam sangarahitam aragadvesha takritam aphala prepsuna karma yattat sattvika muchyate. So karma that is done, niyatam, that is constantly done, which has been enjoined by the Veda and is done without much dependence. So one's dharma, samanya dharma, embodying ahimsa, satyam, aparigraha, dhanam, etc. All these are what feel natural to us, what makes us very happy. You know, when we see other people who embody different aspects of dharma, we look up to them. See, Kali Yuga is such that people who are the richest are admired the most, right? And then there are biographies written on them, what were the habits that made them successful, and so on. And while the person becomes the poster boy or girl for some achievement, what we really admire, what we really appreciate is dharma. You know, the value for wealth is an important value, it is Lakshmi. Or the capacity to do hard work, or the capacity for innovation, or the capacity for creativity, or the capacity for strategy. That if you really unpack it, then what we are admiring are different aspects of dharma. All these aspects of dharma are really manifestations of Ishvara. It is all Ishvara Vibhuti anyway. And so the karma that one is doing without being forced by one's ragas and dveshas, and even without binding desires, that karma is considered Sattvika karma. It's another way of looking at karma yoga. That dharma is to be done to all the people that I have chosen to be in relation with. A lot of the times we are lopsided. We pay so much attention only to one or two relationships and neglect the rest. Right? Because it's convenient, it's easy, the others are, oh my God, so much struggle But doing my dharma to all these people, not only family, but performing my dharma to pitras, ancestors, to devatas, to rishis, acharyas, gurus, to bhutaha, plants, animals, environment, to people around me, to be done. It is a rinam. If ever some audit was done like that, like for you to have lived so long, how many people contributed? From the farmers to the vendors to so many service providers to so many products that were consumed. By the way, 58% global warming is contributed by the birth of a child. Because you have to raise a child and therefore all the products that are used. So much contribution. I am surprised we don't walk around bent. Bent with even thinking so many people have contributed to me and what am I doing for them? So it's not even like, oh, it is dhanam. No, it is to be done, karma, to be done. And although it might be inconvenient, although I don't feel like doing it, our classical excuse, when I feel up to it, I will do it. Keeping that aside, that kartritvam that I have transforms into Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, and that frees me, or rather loosens my ahankara, such that I am able to see the vision of me being a karta. I was never the karta. All the way, but karma will help me in this way. Sattvika karma, to be done. But to be done, don't tell other people what they are supposed to do. Sometimes we look selectively into the Gita because we are struggling with a problem. Our words have not created desired effect. But the Gita says you should do what is to be done. This is not for them. This is for us. Then as opposed to that, yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena vapunaha kriyate bahulayasam tadrajasamudahritam. So a lot of the karma that is done with strong ahankara, so that I feel more significant, or it is an expression of my pride, or with bahu, with a lot of effort, lot of exertion, when I'm obsessed with the result, I have not cultivated enough prasada buddhi, so therefore I am anxious all the time. People wonder how to deal with anxiety. Anxiety is because I am only focused on the result. But Karma Yoga prepares me that even before I do the karma, forget about the result, I am logical enough to see that I am at best a contributor and never the controller. Oh, now I feel even more helpless. you shouldn't. Why? Because you did not create the laws of karma. If you did, then you will feel you are in charge. But whatever is my karma, I am contributing my best capacity, best ability, all that done. And I know that laws of karma are operating all the time, without exception for everyone. So then I can rest knowing that I have done my best. And law of karma is really law of Bhagavan. Where there are laws, there is Bhagavan. So everything touched by the altar of Bhagavan is prasada for me. That understanding is clear. Anyway, I am not defining myself by the outcome of karma. So I am a devotee. I got laid off. I am an IITian. Identities related to events. And functional identities to interact with each other, we will use them, that's fine, no problem. But is that my real identity? That then I want to protect it at all costs. Then there is competition. Then there is pushing the other down. Then just sharing some information. Actually, it's gossip. And then we will say, oh, there's so much politics in the office. Hey, how are you contributing to it? I just listen, I just listen, I just share. After all, everybody must know what's happening, We have to be very vigilant. So anyway, anxiety comes up because I have not put in my best. If I had really put in my best, I know laws of karma take over, it will be fine. And even if it's not okay, I am okay. Because I am not defining myself by the event. It sounds nice, I am not defining myself by the event, but that's not what happens practically. After all, life is about experiences. And we are making memories as we go along. What else is there in life? Nothing. So therefore, this is make my trip, okay? So then, yeah, that's true, yeah, of course. So, lot of anxiety because only focused on result. And therefore exertion and so on, and that's why we are not able to call it a day. I can do more, I'll do more. And then of course sometimes we become donkeys. Become over-responsible. Because people around us are not stepping up to take responsibility. They are under-responsible. Therefore, I will step up. Then it becomes a pattern. Then one is exhausted, one is burnt out. So, Rajasam karma. Anubandham kshayam himsam anapekshya cha paurusham mohad arabhyate karma yattat tamasam uchyate. One of the things we want to be able to teach our children is to think through consequences. What is that song? What is that? Hum tum ek kamre mein band ho aur chabi kho jaye. Okay, that is okay. Aradhana, what is that other song? They are in that... हाँ, that one. भूल कोई हमसे ना हो जाए. Huh? So nice, oh, so beautifully shot and everything. So this bhool, this intimacy being referred to as a mistake. You are thinking adults, no? Huh? Then, why are you talking about it being a mistake? Talking about the impact of impulse in our lives, right? Some of the things that we end up regretting. Why? Because, like Swamiji likes to joke, the tyranny of now. I have this one fault, besides many others, that, the moment I think, okay, let's do this, I just go ahead. Sometimes Sonali bears the brunt of it. So, of course, I've thought through it. And then Swamiji will say, no, let's wait. It's a good time. So, what is there to think? What is there to wait? Just let's do it. That's it. Okay, this is a good project. It will benefit. Let's do it. Okay. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, power of now, tyranny of now. But this tyranny of now, where we don't think through consequences. See, even if you see a lot of the content on TV and film, whenever they show intimacy, there's no reference to contraception. And a lot of people are influenced by the movies. So it could be any action, you just utter certain things. You do certain things just because the food is not cooked properly, or you decide to have white decor theme, and then you have a child or children come to play. Your daughter's friends, they are jumping all over the sofa. You can imagine what happens to the white sofa. So then you can't help yourself, get down and get out. So these words are uttered and then they will impact people. Or somebody comes for a second helping, no second helping, because you are angry about something else. Then that person will come into therapy. I hear so many stories, I tell you. I was denied. That the way that person spoke to me, and I just innocently asked for a second helping. There was enough food, but that person made me feel so less. So tamasam karma, our vak and whatever else that we do with our body, not thinking through the consequences. And I don't mean overthinking, I don't mean worrying about it. And it's not like, okay, wait, I need to think. Oh, so much time, then we will decide. Oh, the power of the mind is amazing. So more or less, some consequences you think through, but karma that is done without thinking of these consequences, and then we leave lot of wounds around people. Ourselves having wounds of the way people have treated us. Tamasam karma. And of course causing loss and injury because of confusion. Okay, I think I will do Tyaga and then maybe we can do discussion. Shall we do? Okay. Niyatasya tu sanyasaha karmano nopapadyate moha tasya parityagaha tamasa parikirtitaha. I have started studying Vedanta. I don't feel like doing anything else. I think I have lot of vairagya. No, you have lot of confusion. Depending on age and stage of life, if you are running away from karma that is to be done, that is not tyaga. It is not correct. Na upapadyate. Don't think it is sannyasa. Don't think it is tyaga. And thinking that I am giving up my career. Actually, I was not doing well in the career, maybe, and I gave it up. Anyway, what is yours to give up? You know, people say, oh, you gave up the world. What is mine to give up anyway? So, weird ideas about tyaga. So, that is tamasika. It's interesting, he starts talking about tamasika tyaga, then only he comes to sattvika tyaga. So, the different karma that we want to avoid, and we have a list, okay, all of us have a list. We know it is to be done, we'd rather not do it, and we will justify it by saying, no, I have given up, it's okay, I don't need it, it's fine. So all that is tamasika tyaga. Others are doing it, no? So the karma that is to be done for pitras, so somebody is doing it, I have given up all this. Question is, has karma served you well? Is there adequate antakarna shuddhi? Because we have this fantastic kshetra. To really develop steadiness of the mind and freedom from our raga dveshas. So if one is not allowed karma to work for oneself, then what tyaga are we talking about? Of course, here we have to look at age and stage of life. We hear, I'm sure a lot of us have heard people who out of confusion have walked away in the idea that, oh, I am a yogi now, I am a sadhaka, created hell in their families because they have not understood tyaga. What freedom it takes to live in the family and give up your dependence on results. Karma yoga. You are free enough to do what is required. You are not bound by what is to be done. That is tyaga. You are not bound anyway. And you don't see yourself as bound. Because if I see myself as bound by my responsibilities, by my roles, by my duties, then some more jnanam has to be there. Vyavaharika jnanam has to be there. So everybody has threatened, I will take sannyasa, I will go away, only then you will understand my worth. Right? So all that is not tyaga. Dukkhamityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayatyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhet. So the karma that causes dukkha, inconvenience, pain, is better to not do. I have done Tyaga Vedanta camps. Anyway, recordings are put up on YouTube. I can listen in the comfort of my home. क्यों मगजमारी करना चाहिए? Why make the effort? Go somewhere. You don't know who your roommate will be. Then you do setting. Okay? How to be with the roommate? If I don't know, hey, then you get to know. I mean, that's it. What's a big deal? No, I don't know. Suppose something goes wrong. Somebody will be there to take care, or you take care. That's it. I don't know. So inconvenient. So problematic. Anyway, same old stuff I have heard before, I can also repeat the same thing. I can do study group also. It's okay. I tell you, these gurus, they have no other work. They just want to organize some camp and all. जब भी मन किया कुछ किया, क्या होता है उसमें? Same thing we are learning. No, we are getting class. It's okay. I don't want to be inconvenienced. Inconvenience has become the criteria for us to do or not do. And inconvenience becomes the criteria for us to do tyaga. I don't want to do. I say, it's okay, I don't need it. I've just given it up. I've been there, done that. So many camps. It's okay. I don't need it. This is called Rajasika Tyaga. Karyamityeva yat karma niyatam kriyaterjuna sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga sattviko mataha. Sattvika Tyaga is karyam iti eva. It is to be done. Niyatam karma. Wise or otherwise, a lot needs to be done anyway. The question is, do you have kartritvam? To the extent that I have a sense of doership, I am always affected by punya papa. Right? And then for more punya papa, spiritual materialism, I will do a lot, yajna, dana, tapasya, I am so sattvika. What will you do with the punya you have? You have so much punya. So what about it? No, I want more. Okay. What are you going to do with it? Do you have the time and the leisure to pursue what you want? Are you able to make the time to pursue what you want? Maybe after 20 years, I think I will be free. No, you won't be free. And I'm not cursing you. It's just about prioritizing what is important for you. And I'm not saying what is important for you. Only you can say what is important for you. If you see the value of whatever is important to you. So I am free enough to do karma and not be affected by punya papa. So siddhi asiddhi, shita ushna, more or less okay, there is samatvam. Sangam tyaktva. So giving up my dependence on the result of the karma. It is all offered to Bhagavan, I am just an instrument. And so the real tyaga is giving up the notion that I am just this human being. For that subtle tyaga, so much tyaga is involved, right? So initially maybe if you give up some object, you say, okay, I am okay, after I gave away all these old clothes. So all of us have overflowing wardrobes. We will use it someday, Lot of things in the house, we will use it someday. 20 years have passed. That day is still to come, but someday we will use it. And if we were in the US, then the garages we might have heard of, or overflowing garages are there. So this holding on to things, to situations, to people for limited identities, and thinking that to be the reality and trying to protect it and sustain it is endless. So that I am not the bhokta, I am not the karta, I was never the karta, the bhokta. I am free enough to have a body, I am free enough to do karma. Karma does not bind me. And so, what is the tyaga for? The tyaga is for the karma phala. That I happen to be here in this time and age. There is a lot that is to be done for the world, for the community. I do my bit. I am an instrument. I allow myself to be a nimitta. Nimitta matram bhava. And so there is tyaga of, I can't do, I shouldn't do, oh what will happen, all this drama that we love to engage in, I give that up. Sattvika tyagaha. So we'll close, at least with a prayer, but don't run away. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukh abhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So we have about 17 minutes. And what I will suggest to you is identify one person or maybe two, like there can be groups of three, 2 or 3, and go back to, can you please listen and can you please sit? Go back to some of the things we have covered. And whatever, like for instance, this Sattvika karma, for example, when was the last time I did this Sattvika karma? The verses are there, they are quite simple, straightforward. Just share it with the other person. The other person will only listen to you, will not interrogate you. Okay, will listen to you with respect, and then you can share. Anyone, I mean, I just gave that as an example, but it could be Sattvika Yajna, Sattvika Tapas. Now don't think that, oh, how can I share what I have done? If you don't share, who will share? Okay, so you please feel free to share. And it would be delightful to see how Sattvika we all are. Okay, so just feel free to share. Okay, so, and if you finish one, then you go on to the other. So allow for both people to share